free collegiate education, over 150 career options, rent-free living, unrivaled travel opportunities, and employment security. These are just a few of the amazing benefits that being a member of the United States Air Force brings to the table. Today, I'm going to convince you why you should strongly consider joining the United States Air Force after you graduate high school. With so many future career options for high schoolers such as yourself to decide upon, it is my hope I can arm you with the facts about what it's like being an airman in the United States Air Force so you can make an informed decision on whether joining our force would be an ideal fit for your goals and aspirations. With that being said, my name is Staff Sergeant Benjamin Manners, your local Kalamazoo Air Force recruiter. I have been in the Air Force going on 5 years. I'm originally from Michigan myself, from a small town called Traverse City. And I know what it's like to be a young person struggling to figure out what to do with my life, wanting the means to travel and go to school, but not being able to afford it on my own. The Air Force has given me a sense of direction, purpose, and has allowed me to live a comfortable life. I am able to pursue my educational goals without the financial burden that often comes along with doing so. I've learned valuable skills working in my prior career field, public health, and I've met so many different people from all corners of the world. I also met my wife Chelsea and had our beautiful daughter Ivy during my time in the Air Force. Joining has personally changed my life for the better, and I believe it can help change yours as well. Let us begin by talking specifically about the educational benefits of joining the Air Force. We will then touch upon various career options, financial benefits, travel opportunities, and the employment security that comes along with being an airman. Lastly, we will talk about what the process looks like for joining and then wrap things up. So let's start with the education benefits. A huge benefit of the Air Force is being able to take advantage of the many different education entitlements that you are being afforded. Today, I'm going to touch upon 3 key education benefits that are worth their weight in gold. The first is the Community College of the Air Force, the second is military tuition assistance, and the third is the post 9/11 GI Bill. Let us begin by talking about the Community College of the Air Force, otherwise known as the CCAF. This is a unique Air Force benefit that the other branches of the military cannot provide. So what is the Community College of the Air Force? It's the largest community college system in the world, and it's accredited by the Commission of Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. This accrediting body also accredits other institutions such as Duke University, Louisiana State University, and Florida State University. Your enrollment is automatic upon completion of basic training, and there is no need to register. One of the best parts is you get legitimate college credits for simply doing your job. You literally will gain college credits for completing basic training in your tech school for your career field and future training that is required. You can apply these earned credits towards many degree options from various colleges in the future. Next, let's talk about the tuition assistance program that is available to you while in the Air Force. This is an amazing benefit that you can take advantage of once your initial on-the-job training period is complete at your base and with your supervisor and leadership approval. With the tuition assistance program, you can complete college classes while you serve and have up to 100% of the tuition and fee costs covered. Your tuition and fee costs are paid upfront and can be utilized for either in-class or online classes. Additionally, you get $4,500 annually to use towards your educational goals. So for me, tuition assistance is actually one of my favorite benefits about the Air Force. I've been able to use it towards a personal goal of mine, and that's to get a bachelor's degree in environmental management from the University of Florida. I actually had a pretty cool experience with the University of Florida too when I was in, and it came in the form of a field trip we had where we got to go up to one of their remote campus sites in the St. Augustine location. And we were able to take some soil and water samples for the class I was taking, and I was able to meet fellow classmates. So that provided a unique opportunity for me. It was a great learning experience, and it wouldn't have been possible without the United States Air Force. Now that I touched upon a personal experience with tuition assistance, I want to talk about the last educational benefit, which is the post 9/11 GI Bill. This is an absolutely amazing benefit that will set you years ahead of your peers who go to school the traditional route of taking loans to pay for school. So what does the post 9/11 GI Bill provide? First, the post 9/11 GI Bill covers the full cost of in-state tuition and fees for your school. Secondly, you get a $1,000 book and supply stipend for each school year. In addition, you get a monthly housing allowance equivalent to an E-5 pay with dependents for the zip code of your school. In addition, you can utilize the benefit towards a degree or specific training program such as HVAC repair, EMT training, etc. Another great benefit is that there's no time limit for its use, and you can also transfer the benefit to a spouse or child. To get 100% of the benefits, you must complete 36 months of active duty service. Now that we covered some of the few amazing educational options the Air Force provides its airmen, let's talk about the various career fields in the Air Force. Your career options are quite broad with over 150 options to choose from. These career options fall under many different categories, which include, but are not limited to, intelligence, computer science, maintenance, logistics, transportation, law enforcement, medical, electronics, and facilities. It is critical you do your research on a number of different jobs and at least have a handful of jobs you'd be willing to do. Another term for an Air Force job is called an Air Force Specialty Code, or AFSC. If the Air Force interests you, I highly recommend going to airforce.com/careers to do your research on various AFSCs and find career opportunities that interest you. Whatever career field you end up working in, you will learn valuable skills in which will often increase your marketability in the civilian job market when you eventually separate. Furthermore, all requirements that you need to be able to fully be trained are 100% covered by the Air Force. This means you won't have to worry about any outside expenses such as housing or fees. All you have to do is focus on learning your craft. Now that you have a general idea of the various career opportunities in the Air Force, I can't stress enough that you do your research in learning what all the various AFSCs do on a day-to-day basis and check their qualification requirements. We as recruiters are often very busy and unfortunately don't have the time ourselves to know the ins and outs of every job. Ultimately, the more prepared you are coming into the office, the smoother the process will be. Let's now turn our attention to some of the financial benefits of being an airman. One of the things I enjoy most about being in the Air Force is the financial stability that comes with it. This has been especially true during the current ongoing global pandemic. I feel fortunate being in a position in which I will know I will get a steady paycheck twice a month, no matter what is going on in the world around me. With many businesses unfortunately not being able to keep their employees on their payroll during times of economic hardship, being a part of the Air Force will offer that financial security you need for building a savings account and paying your bills. With that said, here are some other ways the Air Force helps you become financially independent. For one, rent is free. When you first get to your base, your housing is completely covered. You will live in an Air Force dormitory, which is often comparable to a studio apartment or college dorm room. This in itself is a huge benefit. According to a USA Today article written in 2018, young adults typically spend 45% of their monthly income on rent. Being in the Air Force, 0% of your monthly income goes towards rent, meaning you could put it to use towards other financial priorities. In addition, your meals are free. Being an airman, you have access to your base dining facility in which you get 3 square meals a day. You get to enjoy home-style cooking in a cafeteria-like environment, and one of the greatest parts is you don't have to worry about doing those pesky dishes after you're done. Another financial benefit you don't have to worry about is paying for health or dental insurance. Being in the military, you get to enjoy medical and dental care. Again, a massive benefit. With individuals often having to pay hundreds of dollars a month to meet their healthcare needs, having this paid for again frees up substantial amounts of money to put towards other things. Lastly, you get access to many different civilian business discounts. From major clothing stores such as Adidas, Columbia Sportswear, and Nike, to major tech-oriented companies such as Apple, Microsoft, and GameStop, you can save hundreds of dollars per year on your routine purchases. I would now like to move on to our last benefit, and that is the opportunity to travel when in the Air Force. Joining the Air Force gives you world-class travel opportunities. With bases all over the United States and across the globe, you have the chance to explore areas in which you've never imagined. I will now put up a map for you to see for yourself that shows all the various locations in which you could be potentially stationed at. don't have to stay in one spot your whole career either. People typically move to a different base, a process called permanent change of station, between 4 and 6 years. This is often equivalent to a civilian company transfer. With that said, all of your moving expenses are covered as well. The government will pack up and move your belongings for you, or you could do it yourself and get reimbursed. Lastly, at certain places, you may have access to what's called the Help Our People Save program. This is a unique opportunity in which you can fly on Air Force air transport flights for either reduced costs or completely free. Now that we talked about the numerous benefits available to you when you join the Air Force, let's talk about the process of joining. The very first task is to make sure you're qualified to join. To do this, we will set up a phone conversation prior to our meeting in which we will get some basic information from you. This information includes basic demographic information, past law and or juvenile violations, and any medical issues. If everything checks out over the phone and there's nothing major that would prevent you from joining, we will then set up an in-person appointment. During the in-person appointment, we will get your official height and weight and start completing paperwork and have you complete the enlisted screening test if you haven't already completed the ASVAB, otherwise known as the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Test. Completing the EST will give us a general idea on how well you would do on the official ASVAB test. The ASVAB is a critical component on being able to join the Air Force. The minimum score to qualify to join the Air Force is a 31. This is one of the biggest obstacles that prevent people from initially joining, so I highly encourage you to study for the ASVAB prior to taking the official one. The next step would be to get you scheduled to be processed at the Military Entrance Processing Station in Lansing, Michigan, otherwise known as MEPS. MEPS is a place where applicants take the official ASVAB and get a full comprehensive physical exam, in which you will receive various tests such as a hearing test, vision test, and get examined by a doctor. Once your ASVAB and physical exam are complete, you'll then get a list of jobs you are qualified to do in the United States Air Force. You'll then sit down with a job counselor and make a list of jobs you are willing to do in the Air Force. After that, you will swear into the Delayed Entry Program. Being a member of the Delayed Entry Program means you are qualified and ready to join the Air Force and are simply waiting to have a job booked so you can go to basic military training. During your time in the Delayed Entry Program, we will make sure you stay qualified to join the Air Force and get you prepared for basic military training. We will meet once a month at what's called a DEP Commander's Call, in which we will cover topics which will get you prepared for basic training such as drill movements, memory work, physical fitness requirements, etc. Not only that, but we also do morale building activities such as playing video games, go bowling, and play dodgeball. These meetings will also give you an opportunity to ask any questions you may have about the Air Force and allow you to interact with your fellow DEP members. Ultimately, you will be part of the Delayed Entry Program until you eventually ship out to basic training and start your Air Force adventure. Okay, so today I know we talked about a lot of things. So let's go ahead and do a quick recap. We first talked about the various education benefits our members are entitled to, specifically the Community College of the Air Force, the Tuition Assistance Program, and the Post 9/11 GI Bill. We then talked about the many career options available in the Air Force, including a variety of fields, to include intelligence, computer science, law enforcement, and maintenance. Next, we talked about the financial stability the Air Force can provide, with receiving a steady paycheck twice a month, not having to worry about rent or food costs, and getting full medical and dental coverage. This will allow you to save money that is typically used for these things and put it towards other financial priorities. Also, being employed by the Air Force means you don't have to worry about layoffs or secure employment during times of national economic hardships or amidst a global pandemic. We then talked about various travel opportunities available to you when you join the Air Force. With bases across the world and the potential to use the Help Our People Save program to tag along on Air Force air transportation flights to various destinations, you have the ability to travel the world and see places you never thought you would be able to see. Lastly, we talked about the process of joining, which starts with a phone call in which goes over pre-qualification information. If everything checks out, we will set up an initial appointment, start your paperwork, and get you scheduled to process at the Military Entrance Processing Station up in Lansing. Once you finish your processing, you'll swear into the Delayed Entry Program, in which we will make sure you are prepared for life in the Air Force and basic military training. I sincerely appreciate your time that you've given to tune into this video. It is my hope you strongly think about your future and how the Air Force can hopefully help you achieve your goals and aspirations. For me, it has been the best decision I have ever made. I've learned so much in my almost 5 years in, traveled all over the country, met so many great people with unique perspectives and backgrounds, started a family, and am pursuing my educational goals. You can accomplish so much in a short amount of time as long as you have a positive attitude and a drive to learn. If you would like more information, please write down my contact information and give me a call, text, or email. I would be happy to discuss anything Air Force related with you. I look forward to hearing from you all. Thanks again for tuning in and have a great day.